overtime period has been debated for a good while in the NFL. It used to not be a thing in the regular season at all. But a funny thing happened to a fan outcry for change. When you witness something great, you don't want it to ever end. In the case of the last game of the 2021 NFL Divisional Round weekend, we saw an instant classic that somewhat felt empty, but we understand. Just by looking at the score, the game between the Bills and the Chiefs would read Chiefs 42, Bills 36 in overtime. It would be considered a highly competitive game with one team making one more play than the other. In theory, that would be true. In practice, for most people, that shouldn't be right. Not too long ago, the overtime in the NFL worked this way. Starting in 1974, they'd play one 15-minute quarter, just like the other four. If both teams were deadlocked at the end of overtime, the contest would officially end in a tie. It was sudden death rules, meaning the first team who scored won the game. It was the same way in the playoffs. The only difference was the two teams would play until the first team scored points, because in the playoffs, there must be a winner. And in the playoffs, there are no ties. We've had a few games go into double overtime. The Dolphins versus Chiefs, 1971 AFC Divisional Round. The Panthers versus Rams, 2002 NFC Divisional Round. And the Ravens versus Broncos, 2012 AFC Divisional Round. The first two games were under sudden death rules. The Ravens versus Broncos matchup reflected the current rules in place today. More on that later. It seemed to be fine. That was until the 2009 NFC Championship game. The Vikings and Saints played a competitive, evenly matched game, and they went into overtime tied at 28. The Saints won the coin toss, marched down the field, and kicked a chip shot game-winning field goal, sending the Saints to the Super Bowl. And the Vikings, they went back to the Twin Cities without even having the ability to gain possession in overtime. After that game, it was a growing sentiment to change the rules just a tad. Seemingly, overtime was due to the luck of the draw or the luck of a coin flip. Because of the compelling argument the 2009 NFC Championship game presented, the NFL in the offseason in 2010 decided to tweak overtime to the following. A field goal on the first possession would not end the game. If the team who won the coin toss in overtime scored a touchdown, the game was over. We'll get to that momentarily. If the team that lost the coin flip held the squad which got possession in overtime first to a field goal, then the second team would get a possession in overtime. Should that team which won the coin flip not get any points, the game then turns automatically into sudden death. Little opposition came after that tweak. The overwhelming thought process was that if the team that won the coin toss scored a touchdown in overtime, the opposing squad doesn't deserve a chance at possession, period. It looked rather safe in terms of not changing until the 2018 AFC Championship game. The Chiefs hosted the Patriots at Arrowhead Stadium, and it was billed as a tested veteran QB versus the upstart wonder kid QB. The Patriots controlled most of the first half, the Chiefs dominated the third quarter, and the lead went back and forth in the fourth quarter until it was tied at 31 going into overtime. The Patriots won the coin toss, and they promptly marched downfield and scored a touchdown with the Tom Brady quarterback sneak, ending the game 37-31. The Patriots were Super Bowl bound and eventually Super Bowl champs, while the Chiefs were NFL office bound. After that game, the Chiefs proposed to have each team get at least one possession of the ball, regardless of if the first squad scored a touchdown. It was reported that the proposal got little support and it died before it got any traction. How ironic that the Chiefs argued for the rule change when they benefited from the status quo 3 years later in the 2021 AFC Divisional Round game. The sentiment was there, but the support was not there in 2019. In the aftermath of the Bills-Chiefs game this past Sunday night, it is overwhelmingly there. 25 points was scored within the last 154 of the game. In that time frame, we saw a Bills touchdown pass from Josh Allen to Gabriel Davis and a 2-point conversion from Allen to Stephon Diggs, a catch-and-run TD pass from the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes to Tyreek Hill, as Hill threw up a peace sign before he crossed the goal line, a bullet pass thrown from Josh Allen to Gabriel Davis for another touchdown, this time with 13 seconds remaining, and a field goal with no time remaining after the Chiefs got in the field goal range with 3 plays and 10 seconds. Because of the frantic end of regulation to that game, followed by the TD pass from Mahomes to Travis Kelce with under 11 minutes remaining in the first overtime, the viewing public thirsted and longed for more. Credit to the Bills, they accept the rules as they are. However, just because it's the rules does not make it right. It's not like the NFL is immune to making tweaks, after all. This is the first season where they played an 18-week, 17-game schedule. We witnessed our first ever Monday Night Football playoff game in league history. Back in 2017, they tweaked the regular season overtime period by shortening it from 15 minutes to 10. It isn't far-fetched for more changes like that to be made. I go back to the Chiefs' proposal in 2019. Each team in the playoffs should have one possession of the ball, regardless of if a TD is scored. My proposal goes just a little bit further. Once a team scores a touchdown, the opposing squad must respond on the very next possession with a touchdown. If the opposing team does not do so, the game is over. If the opposing team does score a touchdown, then it is sudden death rules from that point to the game's conclusion. This proposal won't be accepted for 2 reasons. 1, the NFL Players Association wants to safeguard their players from further injury. 2, the owners won't pay any more than they are willing to share right now. However, it would make many fans happy. We'd see an outcome and not say, "What if?" We shall see if the NFL revisits this in the offseason. If so, be prepared to see many football fans smile from ear to ear. Because for many, the NFL playoffs will truly be the best competition in all of sports. Then, the winner will take all.